Okay, this is Ernesto, End Times Writer. I'm coming at you again. This time I'm going to talk to you about an update on Noah's Ark because I just found out this update last month and I thought it'd be a good thing to cover. And actually, the thing that led me to this is I was the other month or two ago, I was online on social media and somebody had posted something about Noah's Ark. And it was a big picture with a lot of script around a picture of Noah's Ark in a storm. And this guy who posted this said that he refuted Christianity and Noah's Ark. Really, so I went on there and I read some what he said, and then I just posted a quick comment, like probably like a long paragraph. That was it. Then I forgot about it. But later on, because it was on my day off, so I was looking around some more, and I noticed I had some comments related. I was tagged, noted on that forum, so I went and looked it up, and there's a lot of people disagreeing with me. In fact, everybody almost disagreeing with me. And I went on over the weekend. I looked on some more, and it was interesting because I guess I stumbled on a hornet's nest because it seems like this was a forum for atheists or agnostics, mostly atheists, and they were all like bashing the Bible and bashing Noah's Ark. And this guy, he had refuted Christianity and Noah's Ark supposedly in his own mind, and all these people were agreeing with him to the point where I had about 800 different people, 800 that gave me a thumbs down or made negative comments. And I'm like, wow, these people are really something else. So I went on there and I answered maybe a couple dozen people, gave them some facts and stuff about the world flood and proof of it. I'm not going to do that so much here, but I thought that was funny that the guy thought he refuted Christianity. And all these people, two guys on there really made me laugh because they say, well, I have a degree in religious studies, and one guy had a 2 year degree, one had a 4 year or master's degree in religious studies. And I told that one guy, well, looks like you didn't get your money's worth because you didn't teach you about biblical inerrancy. And so, anyways, as I was looking on Noah's Ark, I realized that there's actually an updated. Let me show it to you here. Let's see if this comes out here. If you see it back here on the TV behind me, this is Noah's Ark excavation project. This is an update from last year in October 2022. And what it is there's some scientists and different people getting together officially with the government of Turkey's okay, and they're conducting surveys. They're conducting scans. They have conducted scans on Noah's Ark, and they're in Turkey because Turkey is where the Bible mentions. Well, not Turkey, but it mentions the mountains of Ararat is where the Noah's Ark came and rested. And let me just see if I can show you here. Let's see how this works out because I haven't done this format like this before. But basically, yeah, right here in Genesis chapter 6, we're introduced into the ark built by Noah. And let me read just one quick verse in Genesis chapter 6, verse 15. And God tells Noah, this is how you shall make it. The length of the ark shall be 300 cubits, its width 50 cubits, and its height 30 cubits. Now, there's different cubits in history. There's the Egyptian cubit and royal cubit. So I'm not sure which cubit they use, but this approximately ark is anywhere from 450 to 500 feet long, and it's going to be about 75 feet wide and maybe 45 feet tall, or depending which cubit, could be 10%, maybe bigger than those numbers. So what's interesting is that it says it's in the ark rested later on in Genesis, later on, it says after the flood, the ark rested on the mountains of Ararat. Well, the mountains of Ararat are currently in the country of Turkey. They're very high. They're, if I forget exactly, but they're somewhere like the top height is in the area of 14,000 square feet, so it's pretty high. And what? Let me show you this. In 1960, Life magazine had this on their magazine. Noah's Ark, boat-like form seen near Ararat. And if you can look at, I don't know if you can see my arrow in there. Let me see. Yeah, right here, that's the shape. That's probably Noah's Ark. That's what they believed, and it probably was. And if you notice, this is our high black and white because it's 1960. This was an air photography because they were looking for Russian. They're 25 miles from the Russian border, basically, this mountain, and they were looking at that time for any sign of Russian military incursion or anything around there. And a guy spotted this later on when looking at the photos. And you see the shape? It's sort of like a narrow pear-shaped. That, okay, you might think, well, that's just part of the rock formation. But thing is, let's go and look. Now notice this is up on like steep terrain here. And it looks like this probably fell down lower because now, check this out. This is, I've known this picture for a couple decades, a similar one. This is the same structure. Look at it. This is probably Noah's Ark. And there's more proof of that as I go on and tell you about it. See right here? This is our lower slopes. This is not way up there, way up higher. And it still has its basic shape here. You see how the ground around it's a lot lower? This is higher than the surrounding area here. And critics will say, well, that's just a rock formation. But no, because this has been examined scientifically, okay? And it's not just a rock formation. It's more than that. It's not, yeah, there's some rock around it and stuff. But this is basically Noah's Ark because you know what? They've measured this. And guess what? This length from tip to tip here is about 500 feet. Exactly what we find in the Bible within the parameters of very close to the cubic measurement. Same thing for the width and the height is harder to tell, but yeah, because it's probably still partially buried a little more. But this has been known for a long time. People who know this, they've discovered this Noah's Ark since modern times, about the 50s. Now, in ancient times, here's, let me bring this up here. This was writings of Josephus, a Jewish historian. I think he wrote in about the first century. And here he writes in his book, Antiquities of the Jews, page 81, chapter 3, page 81. I'll read it, it's highlighted. And the Armenians call this place landing place. Indeed, as the ark was preserved there, it remains are shown by the inhabitants to this day. So Josephus was saying that you could see the ark still in his day. You were still able to see it. And the Armenians, because you have to go, this brings us back to Armenia today used to be the kingdom of Armenia, and it was a lot bigger than what it is now. So it used to be into what is now modern day Turkey, and that included the mountain of Ararat. Now, though, mountains of Ararat are now in Turkey, and next door is Armenia to the east. So this was accurate here. The Armenians call it the landing place. And so there have been people who've gone over here and checked this out. Ron Wyatt is one of the main ones you'll hear a lot if you get into this from back a couple decades ago, and he did another survey by himself, but using more simpler equipment. But there's been more modern scanning done on it just in this project. Well, I'll get to it more in a bit. But check this out right here. What is found in the area? These are called anchor stones because these are a couple tons. Look at that hole there. That's probably for a rope. And these are anchors. And they found not just one, but several of these very large ones, and then a bunch of small ones are found. Now, what are and people try to again, oh, those are just really burial stone. No, these are anchor stones, folks. And to this day, ancient um, boats would have used these in other parts of the world, or they're not uncommon to be known to have been used. And so, what are these anchor stones doing up in the mountains? Now, this level here, where the current, let's go back here, where this current ark is, I think the elevation is at least about ballpark 5,000 square feet. So, still, how do you get a boat up 5,000 square feet that slid down from up higher, probably 11,000 feet? It's a boat. And how do we know that? Because let's get to this. Where is it right here? Let me see. Do I have it? Hang on a sec. Uh-oh. Where am I going here? Where's my scan picture? There it is. Okay. So here, this is a scan up here, the colored area. Shows, okay, the boat is a diagram of basically they did a scan from the side and it reveals this. But if you look right here, you may say, what's that? Well, where people know how to read these scans, what they say that there's a bunch of parallel rooms, walls of rooms in there, hollowed areas. This is probably a big hull mostly. And there's 3 decks that they determined, just like the Bible says there would be built 3 decks. This is the scans they've done. And they come up with a lot of lumber, and they can see it from the outside. They've taken samples. So this scan reveals that this is not a rock formation, folks. This is a boat. A boat on the mountains of Ararat, made of wood, dimensions that match the ark. It's the ark, folks. And it's so much so that right here in the government of Turkey has recognized this as Noah's Ark for a while now. This is a road sign, and it tells you Noah's Ark in their language in Turkey. This part, Noah's Ark, 5, I think that's miles, 5 miles, which is about, ballpark 10 kilometers from there. And then they have right here, they actually have a little tourist. See, here's a boat formation right here, if you can see it. That angle is more of an angle, so it's not straight on, but you can still see that's it. They have built this little visitor center right there. And right here, Turkey dedicated the site as Noah's Ark in 1987. In 2014, resistivity scans revealed a massive boat shape underground. Okay, and now it's official. The boat-shaped site near Dogobeyats is the name of the place, if I pronounce it right. Dogobeyats. They even have travel tours that you can book if you go to Turkey to see this site. It's part of the travel touring. It's a tourist site now, and Turkey is mostly a Muslim country, but I guess they don't see a problem with recognizing Noah's Ark because it's probably pre-Christianity. So they'll say, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's okay." That's my guess. Okay, so then what we have. Let me go back to this. Back to this picture. Here's the ark. This is the update. It's an ongoing venture with the government of Turkey. And what they're doing is they're building a complex near there so that researchers can live there year round, have a kitchen, cook, showers, and live there while they do more excavations and more testings because they want to break into, they've dug around the side here. You can't see it in this picture. And they're wanting to go into the inside of this boat. They want to go into it and see it more. But right, if you know, recently there's a major earthquake that was in Turkey, and I imagine that's probably hampered their efforts. There also depends on fundraising. But this is it, folks. This is Noah's Ark. This now there you'll find another online. There's a YouTube video about these other people that researched this. Say, was it 7-8 years ago or so, maybe 10, and they claimed they were up higher than this, and they went into looked like a cave, and inside it was all. They took video of all this wood, big thick panels of wood, like a room or two with girders of wood and panels of wood, and they're saying that's Noah's Ark. Well, I don't think it's the same as this one because this one's been here a while. I think what they may have found, if it was the same, if they're not making this up and it's in the mountains of Ararat, I think that could have been living quarters that were, personally, I think that might have been living quarters Noah's family made later on because they may have not, just stayed in the boat even after it landed. They probably got out and eventually built structures and stuff and lived there. And maybe that's what they found were other living structures, but not, I don't think it was a boat. This is the boat because of the scans. The other people didn't make scans. They just had video footage, and it's hard to tell because on the outside it was all covered with ice. You couldn't see any shape of anything. But what's interesting is that the locals here that live in this area, there's a village near there. They call this they say it's Noah's Ark, and that this is his the landing. And they even say Noah's wife was buried there, and there's a grave that was dug up, unfortunately, in the 70s that supposedly she was buried there. And other people have come and taken artifacts and stuff from the area. But I'm telling you, this is Noah's Ark. And right there, it just refutes people that say, oh, there was a local flood. Oh, no, it didn't happen. Folks, this is proof that the Bible, going far back to chapter 6 of Genesis, is archaeologically proven to be what it says. The ark and its dimensions and everything else is probably true. Also, if you have this there, and we have in the Bible later on, chapter 10 of Genesis, call it the Table of Nations, where, remember, this was a reset. This was God wiped out the whole world, animals and people, except for the ones that were on the ark. The ones that were brought, the animals that were brought on the ark, and Noah and his family, which the Bible tells us were 8 people. His wife and his sons and their wives are 8 people altogether, and they repopulated the earth. And they were still living hundreds of years long back then, and that helped repopulate the earth. And eventually, that's Noah's sons moved about, and the Bible tells us their descendants, the genealogies, and we know that they built cities, and the certain areas of that part of the world were called after sons of Noah. His grandson was, I believe, the Tower of Babel was made by Nimrod, who was a descendant of Noah, not either grandson or great grandson. And so this is it, folks, and this shows that we had a world flood, and on the mountains. How do you get a boat up there in the mountains? I'm not going to talk about all the evidence for the flood, but I'll just say right now briefly, you have everywhere in the world, from the lower level elevation of deserts, You have sea fossils, whether they're sea animals or sea plants. I saw an old series on TV the other day, and they were talking about the world's largest mountain. Was it Mount Everett? Uh, um, Mount Everett. No, I'm saying it wrong. Um, I can't even think of it right now. You guys know Mount Everest, and they paid a guy to go up there, a world class climber, because it's probably just dozens of people that have gone to the very top of that mountain, and it's the highest one in the world, um, from land up, not counting down and below the ocean. Excuse me, I just ate something a while ago, and basically they paid him. They showed him. They trained him how to gather samples. He got samples near the bottom of Mount Everest, then near the middle, and then not at the very top, but near the top. He took samples, brought the samples back. They examined them, and you know what they found at the highest samples he got? Sea fossils of sea vegetation. So there's evidence that the whole planet was under the seas, under flooded. Just like the Bible says. Whether you go to a mountain in the desert, you'll see seashells. On top of some mountains or in the desert, you'll find seashells. You know, and there's so many other um, proofs that we had a world flood, besides the world legends all over from different groups of peoples that say there were floods and that people they have similar stories. There was a world flood and the few survivors and they repopulated the earth, and it's just all over, from Hawaii, from Native Americans to you know um, Europe to other parts of the Aborigines in Australia, I believe. All over, people have these stories, and that's it. The Noah's Ark happened. The Noah's Ark remains are here. It'll be interesting as they get back and further start to do more scans, and we find even more about it. And I think that's awesome. This was updated just last year, October 22. So if I hear anything down the road, I'll let you know. But I want you to know Noah's Ark is being excavated. It's an ongoing project. It's a tourist destination. It's recognized by the country of Turkey. So how about that, huh? So I'll leave it there, and you guys see you next time.